a feudal nation isolated for centuries. Then, in a single generation, transformed into a modern industrial power capable of challenging Western nations. This enormous change didn't happen miraculously, but was led by a young figure in his teens. He was Emperor Meiji, the emperor who not only led Japan, but also changed the course of world history. Hello everyone, welcome to this channel. I'm Rai, and in this video we'll explore the story of one of the most influential figures in Japanese history, Emperor Meiji, the young emperor who successfully steered his country out of feudalism and transformed it into a modern world-respected power. Many people know him as a symbol of Japan's great era of transformation. But behind it all lies a much deeper story. It's about political upheaval, pressure from Western nations, and the struggles of a young leader who faced the changing times with extraordinary courage. So, get ready, because today we'll delve into the life of Emperor Meiji. From his childhood in Kyoto to the monumental decisions that shaped the face of modern Japan. Here are the complete historical facts about Emperor Meiji, the emperor who changed the course of Asian history in just one generation. Emperor Meiji was born on November 3, 1852 in Kyoto as Mutsuhito, during one of the most critical periods in Japanese history. The country was still under the rule of the Tokugawa shogunate, while the emperor served only as a spiritual symbol. From childhood, Mutsuhito was known to be physically fragile, often ill, but possessed a remarkable intellect, excelling in reading, writing, and studying court etiquette. During his childhood, Japan was shaken by a major event, the arrival of Commodore Matthew Perry in 1853, which forced Japan to open itself through the Treaty of Kanagawa, 1854. Pressure from the West intensified, while the conflict between supporters of the shogun and supporters of the emperor intensified. In 1866, his father, Emperor Meiji, died, and the 14-year-old Mutsuhito was crowned heir. Mutsuhito had no idea how heavy a burden he was about to shoulder. However, Japan was about to enter a new era, and he was at the center of that change. In 1867, Mutsuhito officially became Emperor Meiji, and he became the 122nd Emperor of Japan. However, the country was already on the brink of civil war. Shogun Tokugawa Yoshinobu's power was weakening, while the Satsuma and Choshu clans pushed for major changes that returned power to the emperor. This conflict erupted into the landmark Meiji Restoration in 1868. The shogunate was then officially abolished, and a new government was established in the name of the young emperor. Although Meiji was still a teenager, his name became a symbol of the political revolution that ended more than 250 years of Tokugawa rule. In 1869, the capital was finally moved from Kyoto to Edo, and the city was renamed Tokyo. The former shogun's palace became the Kokyo, namely the center of modern Japanese government. This was the first step in a major transformation that would change the face of the nation. The 1870s and 1880s were the most revolutionary period in Japanese history. Under the leadership of Emperor Meiji, young leaders implemented sweeping reforms that modernized all aspects of life. The feudal system was dismantled, including the abolition of the samurai class in 1876, which had served as Japan's military caste for hundreds of years. The government introduced compulsory national education, 1872, built Western-style schools, and sent many Japanese students to study in Europe and America. Meanwhile, the first factories were built. The railways opened in 1872, and industrial technology began to transform the Japanese economy. Politically, Japan established new government institutions. And in 1889, the Meiji Constitution was enacted, establishing a modern constitutional monarchy. Japan transformed from an agrarian nation to an industrial nation, rapidly catching up with Western standards. All of this occurred in just 2 decades, a feat rare in world history. Entering the 1890s, Japan not only modernized internally, but also began to demonstrate its strength internationally. The first conflict to test the results of this modernization occurred in the First Chongkok-Japanese War, 1894-1895, in which Japan defeated the Qing dynasty. The international community was shocked. For the first time, a modern Asian nation had defeated a traditional great power. This success was followed by a greater challenge. In the Russia-Japanese War, 1904-1905, Japan emerged victorious again, this time against European empires considered stronger and more modern. This victory established Japan as a major world power, on par with Western nations. Domestically, this period was also marked by internal conflicts such as the Satsuma Rebellion in 1877, led by Saigo Takamori, a key figure in the Meiji Restoration. Although this rebellion occurred earlier, its impact was felt well into the 1890s. Japan became increasingly confident that its military modernization had succeeded. By the early 20th century, Emperor Meiji was less visible in day-to-day politics, but remained a spiritual symbol of the nation. He was known for his deep interest in literature and wrote over 100,000 waka poems throughout his life, many containing moral advice and reflections on life. His health began to decline in his later years. Emperor Meiji suffered from various ailments such as nephritis, diabetes, and digestive disorders. On July 30, 1912, Emperor Meiji died at the age of 59, marking the end of the Meiji era, 1868-1912, an era known as one of the greatest transformations in the history of civilization. He was buried in Fushimi Momoyama, Kyoto, and was succeeded by his son, Emperor Taisho. The story of Emperor Meiji is proof that a single generation can change the fate of a nation. From a remote backward nation to a modern power that shook the world. He may not have held all the direct control, but under his name, Japan rose from feudalism to the modern age. And to this day, Emperor Meiji's name is remembered as the emperor who changed the face of Japan forever. Okay everyone, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons below to encourage me to create more content like this. Okay friends, I'm Rai, goodbye, see you in the next video.